Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the film Long Life des Muses, which is a film produced in China in 1947. In China, in the city of Shanghai, in the 1940s, a young couple got married. And then, as the tradition said, she moved in with her husband in the house of his family, as it was common many generations to live under the same roof. And we can see that her mother-in-law, she was a very difficult woman, and she was always trying to please everyone. She was always trying to say white lies. She was always trying to be a devoted wife, even at the expense of her well-being. Then her brother, who was traveling to Taiwan, he returned and he didn't go to her wedding because of that, and he didn't knew her husband yet. So he introduced himself to his sister's husband, and then both him and the sister of her husband, they fell in love and started to date. And then his family sometimes opposed the relationship. It was a very oppressive and difficult household, and women were supposed to adapt all the time. Someday, the husband, he was introduced to a gold digger, and she became his lover. His wife, of course, she realized that since the beginning, but she pretended she didn't knew, in the hope that the affair would end by himself and that her husband would become the good husband he was before. But it didn't happen. Actually, things became more and more serious. A little while before the wife found out that, she talked to her father because her husband, he was a nice guy, but he was totally incompetent to business. He was too ambitious and he wanted a loan so he could open his own company. Then she said a white lie to her father that her in-laws, they had many gold bars, that they had lots of stock and lots of money, but they didn't want to give money to her husband because they didn't like to spend money and blah blah blah. And thinking that the family of her son-in-law had lots of money, the father of the woman lent him some money. And nobody knew that what the wife had said was a lie. Okay, so when the young husband, found himself a lover, he totally neglected his company, and then one of his employees, he stole all his money and he went bankrupt. And then of course that his father-in-law, he wanted his money back. And then he asked, instead of asking her son-in-law, he asked his mother to pay the money because his daughter had told him a while before that her husband's family had lots of money, golden bars, stocks, and blah blah blah. And then of course that they both realized that the girl had lied, so her father could lend money to her husband. And then of course when her husband and his family realized why his father-in-law lent him the money, they blamed the young wife for everything bad that happened. And the husband, even though he was the one who had a lover, he was the one who was neglecting his wife, he was the one who didn't fulfill his duties as a husband, he put all the blame on his wife and wanted a divorce. However, and he had told his wife that he had broke up with his lover, but it was a lie, and he still dared to act as if he were the victim. Then we can see that before the divorce, he wanted his wife to talk to his lover, because actually his lover, she was a gold digger. She was trying to take money from him by all costs. She lied saying that she was pregnant, and if they didn't give money to her, she would go to court and blah blah blah. So his wife agreed with that. She found a way to scare her husband's lover, and that was it. By this time, the wife herself, the young wife, she got tired from being maltreated and she wanted the divorce. Then her husband, of course, he changed his mind because he had a dedicated wife and he didn't want to lose that. But then the wife was determined to have the divorce. So the couple went to the lawyer's office, and when they were there, they realized that both the brother of the wife and the sister of the husband, they had eloped and they were getting married at that moment. Then the wife told another white lie, saying that they weren't there to scold them. They wanted to congratulate them for getting married. And then she told the husband that it would be the last lie she would tell because she didn't want to spoil the happiness of her sister-in-law in the day of her marriage. And then she said to the lawyer that she wanted the divorce. The husband said that he didn't want the divorce. Then the wife started to have second thoughts. And then she started to feel sorry for letting her husband go. Then he had a cut on his forehead and she applied medicine on it. And while it happened, she regretted asking the divorce and said she didn't want the divorce. Then her husband pretended that now he wanted the divorce, but then she couldn't sign the divorce. And then the lawyer tore the papers because he realized that the couple actually didn't want to divorce, none of them. And then they reconciled, she forgave her husband for her infidelity, and then they went out to a cafe to celebrate with the lawyer that their wedding, that their marriage was preserved. And when they were in the cafe, which was the cafe where the husband first met his lover, they realized that his former lover was in the cafe saying the same things she had said to him to another man, because she was a gold digger. It was her profession to seduce men, to take money out of them. And she had a husband of her own who was also involved in this kind of scheme. And then they could realize that the lover didn't learn anything and that she was still looking for victims, for people who take money from. It's a very interesting comedy. It talks about the family life, society rules in the Shanghai city in the 1940s. And even though we can see that the wife, she was oppressed in her marriage by her husband, by the family of her husband, she had to tolerate infidelity. But then it's shown that it was a wealthy family, so she also had a very comfortable life. So she tolerated some stuff, but she was also supported. And then we can see that things in China were changing, because for the first time in China's history, women started to have the right to divorce, to leave a marriage if they felt unhappy, which was something unprecedented at the time. And we can see that even though there were lots of conservative rules, we can see that women did whatever they could to handle the rules, to handle society, and to be happy in the middle of oppression, of all that. Of course that the couple remained married, the family was united and all that. And we can see that it's also a conservative trace in the film, but it's a funny film. The acting of all actors is very good, and I'm sure you're going to love this film. That's all for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you!